In today's video, I'm going to compare two big players in the protein powder game, whey isolate and whey concentrate. So which one's better? Which one should you choose? Well, today you're going to find out. Let's go. Hi, I'm Aleksa, sports dietitian, nutrition coach. Welcome again to one of my videos. Thank you again for clicking and watching. But before we get into today's topic about protein, remember, do subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay in the loop with every video that I release. Which protein is better for me? Whey isolate or whey concentrate? I do not know which one to choose. Good question, and actually a very common question that I get as a sports dietitian. See, protein powder is simple. Protein powder is a food basically in powdered form that's used as a supplement to supplement your diet and add an extra boost when it comes to the macronutrient protein. We all know this.
Hey, I got you guys protein shakes.
Awesome, I love protein.
I know you love protein. I love protein too.
But there are so many different types, even beyond just whey protein, but we're not going to be talking about them today. Today I'm just going to be comparing whey isolate versus whey concentrate, because I get that question so often, and it's one that probably needs to be answered because it's the two big players in the game. They kind of compete against each other, and sometimes the truth behind the matter of which one is actually better for you or which one is worth it, it gets muddled up with all the misinformation out there. So I want to clear it all up and give you the blunt truth. So which one is better for you? Which one should you choose, so to speak? Well, without further ado, let's explain. First, I'll start by explaining what whey protein is, so you understand what we're actually talking about from the baseline level. See, whey protein is a type of protein that's derived from milk-based products, and it consists of fast-digesting protein, and it's a common ingredient in many dietary supplements beyond just the whey protein powders. And the two most common forms is whey isolate and whey concentrate. Whey isolate undergoes different type of processing to whey concentrate, and therefore the end result is a protein that has less carbs and fats than whey concentrate and a more high percentage of protein to the volume of powder. Let's break up the difference in terms of nutritional profile for two different versions from a brand that I typically use. So with the brand that I use, here's the whey isolate breakdown. It's got about 118 calories, about 25 grams of protein, less than 1 gram of carbs, and less than 1 gram of fats, which is just basically to say negligible fats, negligible carbs, all protein, 25 grams per serve, 118 calories. The whey concentrate, on the other hand, the calories is 146, so 20-25 calories difference. It's about 26 grams of protein, so interestingly for this brand, the protein is actually a tiny bit higher, negligible higher. For all intents and purposes, it's the same protein. And the carbs is about 3 grams and fats is about 2 grams. So you can already see that in terms of protein, they're very much the same. They're both derived as a whey protein. It's just that the whey isolate has less carbs and fats, obviously, whereas the whey concentrate has a little bit of carbs, has a little bit of fats. Whey isolate is also technically more readily absorbed in the body, and it's more kind of available in the body, so to speak, just to kind of keep it in layman's terms. However, whey isolate is way more expensive than whey concentrate.
Show me the money!
So is it actually worth the higher price tag? Well, let's compare them further. So just looking at the calories, you can argue that it's negligible. Okay, I mean 20-25 calories difference. Does it really matter for an athlete's diet in grand scheme of things? Probably not. You could probably easily fit in those calories and will be perfectly okay. However, if you're someone that's really kind of meticulous about calories and you really want to work with less calories so you have more elsewhere, well then you could argue the point that the whey isolate is worth it for you. Now onto the fact that whey isolate is more processed and therefore more bioavailable to you. Does this actually matter in the grand scheme of things? Does this actually matter when it comes to practical terms? It actually does not matter as much as you think. What's way more important when you talk about protein, especially when you talk about the context of taking a whey protein supplement, protein adequacy, protein quality, and protein distribution. Now, knowing that both are whey proteins, we already know that they're of the similar quality. Your protein adequacy is basically how much are you actually eating in total for the day? Are you eating enough protein in the total day to even matter? And protein distribution is obviously how you distribute your protein across the day, which is more of a secondary thing to total protein, but it's something to consider if you're working on muscle protein synthesis. So you can already see here that even though they're both proteins from a whey source, one is kind of technically more bioavailable, but even that, in the context of the whole diet, is probably negligible and probably not worth practical terms, especially when you consider how much more expensive whey isolate is. However, I will say that whey isolate actually is good for people, for example, that can't tolerate lactose. So for them, that would obviously be the preferred choice because you wouldn't want to go for the concentrate because then you'll get symptoms. But if you don't reduce lactose, you can tolerate fine, then honestly, both options are going to give you your best bang for your buck when it comes to giving you a protein supplement. Basically, a means to boost up your protein when you're lacking it in food. That brings me on to my next point, which is keep in mind these protein powders are supplements. Okay, they're supplementary to the food diet. So you've got to make sure your food first approach is down pat and correct before you even worry about, am I taking the correct protein powder and all this sort of stuff. Focus on food first, get most of your protein from there, use this as a supplement as needed. Do not rely on it to save you, so to speak. And finally, another point that I want to make is that generally speaking, and this is my opinion, but also clients have told me this, and from people that I've spoken to, they've told me this as well. Whey concentrate, it just tastes better.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
Okay, it just tastes better. And when you consider that whey isolate's going to cost you more, and then the whey concentrate actually tastes better, but in terms of nutritional quality is actually very similar. I mean, you can make your judgment there, but keep in mind that also it cooks better as well. So I've found in terms of experimenting when I'm doing like, protein-based baked goods, that the whey concentrate actually has a better consistency once cooked. So that's something to keep in mind as well. How are you going to be taking your protein powder? If you literally just take like a shake, you care about those differences in calories, and you want that more hydrolyzed, bioavailable, whatever you want to call it, form of protein, then go ahead. If you can justify the price, go ahead. But when you consider that it costs more, whey isolate, it doesn't taste as good potentially, it doesn't cook as well, especially if you're trying to use protein in a more different way, which is honestly the way that I use protein mostly, is adding it to recipes rather than just a shake. I sometimes will do that. But yeah, that's just some things to consider as well, beyond just the nutrition of it. How does it actually taste? Does it taste better? Does it really matter that it has a little bit of extra carbs and fats? Because we're not talking about a mass gainer here. We're not comparing whey isolate to a whey mass gainer. We're talking about whey isolate to a whey concentrate. Nutritionally, in my opinion, very, very similar. So yeah, here's a little bit of a recap to help you out. Whey isolate is cleaner, so therefore it's better for those who can't tolerate lactose or who really care about this extra bit of calories. However, concentrate is much cheaper and cooks a lot better, while still being a high quality protein source. And not to mention, a lot more cheaper as well. But whey isolate does absorb a bit better and has more bioavailability. But this does not matter in practical terms, and it's more nitpicky if I'm being honest, because at the end of the day, consuming enough protein in your total day from food will matter most. Your total intake in general will matter even more, and making sure you're distributing and having a high quality protein itself is also key. And even if you take whey out concentrate, you are achieving these things as long as your food approach is good. So it's a bit nitpicky in my opinion. In practical terms, the difference is honestly negligible. And so what is my recommendation? Okay, what do I consume personally and what do I recommend for my clients? Well, for my clients, I honestly recommend that they find ones that suit them and we kind of work through it together. But I'm going to talk about what my one is because it's a bit easier for me to answer that rather than speaking on the behalf of my clients who are not here in this room right now, obviously. For me personally, I go for whey concentrate. One, way cheaper, and the protein that I go for, I like the taste, I can find it on sale a lot of the time, and I just use it as a supplementary tool or to bulk up or add protein to recipes. The fact that it tastes better, cooks better, is cheaper, and is still bioavailable for me is enough for me to justify going for concentrate versus isolate. But at the end of the day, you can make that choice yourself now with the information that I presented to you. So there you go. Now you know the difference between protein isolate and protein concentrate, and hopefully now you have more information at your hand to make that executive decision on which one should you actually be consuming. Now I want you to tell me in the comments, okay? Drop it in the comments below. What's the protein you take? Okay, whether it's whey isolate, whey concentrate, or some kind of other protein, just tell me what your favorite protein is. Okay, I'll be curious to hear. Let's share and show everyone what our protein choice is. Maybe you'll give someone an idea for a protein that they maybe want. Okay, so let's share it in the comments below. Drop it below. Let me know what your favorite protein is. As always, if you want a sports dietitian to personally work with you one-on-one, aka if you want me to work with you one-on-one, then reach out. Okay, you can send me an email, okay, at aleksa@theclimbingdietitian.com.au. Otherwise, there is an application link in the description notes below where you can apply to just have a quick chat with me, see if it's the right fit, see what you're actually trying to achieve, and see how I can help you elevate and reach your peak potential. So if you're looking to work with a sports dietitian, reach out, don't be shy, let's see if I can help you, and we'll go from there. And yes, in case you're wondering, I do have a 90-day program which is designed for athletes to get them kick-started with flexible nutrition and get them on the right path to achieving success with their nutrition. So if you're interested, reach out and we'll go from there. As always, subscribe if you haven't done so you can stay up to date with every time that I release a video, which at the moment is, I'm trying to do it every Friday for you so you can have all the videos in the world that's going to help you elevate nutrition knowledge. Not to mention that I release a bunch of recipes as well, so if you're into recipes and cooking, well, you'd want to subscribe as well. Stay classy. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye.